glad and I'm getting this opportunity to ask you questions related to InsuredTech and your views. So I would like to first introduce you to our audience.
Yep.
So he's a very renowned business strategist and the best-selling author of Outthink the Competition. I'm so glad we can share some views of him through our questions that we have. So Kaihan, if you can please briefly describe what you do.
Yeah, so Outthinker is my firm. We're a growth strategy firm, and we're very much focused on understanding the future and what the language is that you use to have conversations about the future in order to create disruptive strategies.
So my next question would be, what latest changes you anticipate in terms of technology and customer engagement and behavior in the next 24 months in this industry?
So, I think that what people focus primarily on is that interface with consumers, right? And so, that's kind of the usual stuff about the ease of information, the ease of purchasing, the ease of access, the ease of content. But I think there are a lot of people kind of already playing there. But I think what's more interesting is how technology is going to change how people think about creating business models, coordinating things instead of controlling things, and finding ways in the back end to kind of shorten the time from need to delivery of the need. Try to innovate in a old industry, and insurance is arguably one of the oldest industries, right? It was created, I've heard that the first insurance were Chinese merchants, who instead of putting all of their goods on one ship, would divide it across multiple ships, so that if one ship, sank, then they wouldn't all, be damaged, right? So it's an ancient product, if you will, right? So whenever you're doing that, then you have a lot of entailments, historical entailments, and then also, of course, it's a highly regulated industry, right? So if you're going to try to innovate in the core, the stuff that is regulated, that's always has a longer lead time, but there are a lot of opportunities to innovate around that core.
Okay, true, I agree. I used to know that from you. So, do you envision customers to be the biggest beneficiaries from this InsureTech revolution?
I think that I think customers will, but thereby, because insurance fundamentally is kind of like a societal thing, right? So I think that society benefits, and that's one thing that's unique about the insurance product as compared to a banking product or clothing or objects or technology, right? Which are really focused on benefiting the individual. Insurance benefits society when it works well. So I think it's society will be the biggest beneficiary.
So how do we communicate the benefits to the customers? If you can give us some tips.
Yeah, I think the challenge with insurance is that the benefits come time lagged. You don't appreciate the benefits so long after you buy them, right? So fundamentally, that's the issue. But if you can find ways to characterize that benefit as a present benefit as opposed to a future benefit, and kind of sell it forward, and there are ways to do that. It's kind of an externality that you need to bring as an internality for the customer. Part of that's just kind of marketing, coming up with a term, this is a long stretch of a connection, but De Beers, the diamond company, right? They create these things like the diamond engagement ring or the anniversary ring or the and so you take something that is intangible and then make it tangible and present. So I think that's the big challenge. I don't have any very concrete ideas on how to do that well, but it's around communication and branding and marketing.
Utilizing all the networks you can to just reach out to them. Would you say?
Yeah, I think that the easy parts are places where you're required to get insurance, right? Like if you can be, those are the obvious places to start. Like I've just bought a car, I just got married, I just hit a certain stage in my life, and that's kind of part of the challenge of marketing insurance is that since you're selling something that at intermittent times in the lifetime of someone, like you buy shoes every, I don't know, however often, or you but when you're selling life cycle things like student loans or credit rating services, right? The challenge is how do you maintain your customer relationship and thereby increase customer lifetime value, given that your customer buys and then disappears. But I think a real opportunity is to figure out how to increase the interaction with the customer. So it's an ongoing interaction, which you can do through giving them useful information or maybe spreading out the purchase over multiple interactions.
Great. So that's a very good piece of suggestion that we get. So if you have just one suggestion for us as InsuredMine, so we are doing insurance management for our customers. So all your information can be in one place. So one advice that you can give us.
Well, I think one advantage you have, which is, as what we just talked about, is that since you're selling or you're giving them access to a bundle of insurance that they need at multiple points in their lives, right? That you can have multiple interactions with them and make those connections between I bought this insurance and therefore this insurance and therefore this insurance. You got to create a more complete picture than a single specialized insurance company can. But it seems to me that creating that there's a core category or a core concept of what you're selling, right? And figuring out how to frame that in a way that people will get it. When Apple sold its iPad, it can be used for a lot of things, but they didn't really sell it until they said, we're going to initially sell it as an e-reader. It's going to be the ultimate e-reader. And there's that one need that people buy it for, and then they discover all these other things, So I'll be figuring out that one entry point in their minds will be the opportunity, I think.
Thanks for that advice. Just one last question. What do you think about having all your insurance information in one place?
I think it makes. I think it's. I don't think that. Out loud, but there's some places where a consumer doesn't want to have all the information in one place because they feel like that, and that kind of puts all the eggs in one basket. But I don't see that being the case in yours, because you can provide an overall picture of all of their insurances. It gives them like a more complete picture. So if you're selling apples and you're selling dough and you're selling sugar, it's less valuable than if you sell an apple pie, right? So if you can take those things and put it together and bundle it up into a higher order category, then that can differentiate you and give them something that they can understand and get more value from.
Thank you for believing in our product, and thanks for your support.
Yeah, thank you.
Talking to you.